Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the ParaFixIt series. Today we're hang testing the Paramotor, and by the time this video is released I'll hopefully have taken my first flights and I'll be already editing that, so looking forward to that. That should be a week from today. The weather's looking pretty good. I'd like to take this time while we're walking up the end of the field just to thank everyone who subscribed. We're well on our way to 400 subscribers and I couldn't do it without the following of you guys, so that's keeping me going. Thank you very much for subscribing. Let's get this Paramotor hang tested. So what I worked out, Mark, was if we come over to this swing, should be able to put these round it and hang off of it. And it's out of the way, so no one's going to think we're weird.
Ta-da!
Here's my #1 problem. There isn't a lot of me. I was shortchanged at some point. To be honest, if I can't reach this on tiptoes when I'm sat down, I should be fine.
I can hear a dog. I can see a dog.
Oh, you're a good girl, aren't you? Yes. Okay, about even.
That one's a bit higher. Yeah, that's good.
Right, okay.
Way to do it.
Oof.
Hang on. People that feature.
Ooh. Hell, that scooped you out.
I could tell why they put a lot more padding in here, because that's right in your back when you're hanging. So I'm going to have to add more padding to that. In terms of hang testing, guys, so basically when you're hanging or seated in your Paramotor, you want about a 15-degree angle with your engine pointing at the ground. Now I can't see what's going on, so Mark might have to adjust the camera so we can all have a look. But essentially when you go and hang test, you want to have probably about half a tank of fuel, because that's kind of what you're roughly going to be taking off with. And you want to be able to make sure you can get in and out of your leg straps.
Do you want me to move this round to the left so they can see a side shot?
Quite frankly,
how you were sitting, you were quite cradled.
that?
How you were sitting, you were quite cradled.
Yeah, I'm quite cradle in here. So basically what I need to do is get myself as low as I can get in these leg straps, which is pretty much there. So I'm running, and bit of brake, take off, and then I need to be able to get into my seat, which I can't do. What I'm going to do is just tighten up these leg straps and go from there. Right, once again, tucked in, running, into the seat, not going to happen. I can with my hands get myself into the seat, but that obviously means you're going to have to let go of brakes, so let's just tighten them up a little bit more. I did loosen these off because the seat board was an issue, but I think what I've worked out is that the seat board actually catches on the frame, so I might have to add like a little scoop so that doesn't happen. So out the seat and running, and then into the seat. That's pretty good. I can get into the seat with just my legs and out the seat. Once standing, let's have a look at the seat board. It's probably about right. So running, brake, feet up, and we're away. Right, let's take a look at this hang point, shall we?
I got a quality photo of you.
Have you? It's really cool. You should have a sit in this, man. It's really cool. I'm gonna have to do some more padding to this frame though.
Yeah, just digging in.
Yeah, there should be enough reach there to get the brake toggles off.
So as you guys might be able to see, I'm quite cradled in this position, and the hang angle is, well, What do you reckon, Mark? Hang handle pointing back?
There'll be quite a lot of upward thrust from that angle.
Yeah, so I'm looking for about a 15-degree angle back.
Yeah, I'd say you're a little bit past.
Okay, well, in terms of walking then, I've set these shoulder straps, so the motor is kind of nearly flat, but when I lean back and I take off, it should be at the right angle. So that means I'm gonna have to move these carabiners, so move them back to the third one, because I don't weigh a lot. So yeah, I'll move them back. Hopefully, if I try and demonstrate here, if I lift that up, I'll be sat more upright and I won't be nestled in like a little baby. So let's get down and adjust it. Here we go, hang test position 2. I probably couldn't have picked a hotter day to do this, and I am sweating. It's a hard work out in the sun. My tacho is reading 24 degrees, so yeah, pretty damn warm. Right, I am quite bolt upright now. Maybe I need to go for the middle strap. It looks like the engine is pointing more of my thrust angle down, so that's not the best thing in the world. I could release these shoulder straps, but as soon as I come into land, that's going to be a big issue for me. There's a buzzard in the horizon, catching some thermals. Yeah, I was supposed to fly today, but the weather looked a bit on the edge of being too windy. Now there's people down there flying, so I'd rather wait a little bit, get all this right, and then hit the skies. So let's check this hang angle and then have a look at the middle carabiner hooking point, and hopefully that'll be the happy medium. So I've just realised that on the side of this harness I can adjust the seat board. That's put me in a much more seated position. I couldn't get the carabiners in the second position. Quite frankly, I think they've probably just been bodged on at some point, but that actually feels like a much more comfortable position. What do you guys think about the hang angle? From where I'm sitting, without even checking the footage, looks like it's pretty much in the right place. I think that's where I'm going to keep my carabiners. Seat board like that. If I try and tuck myself any more in, this is literally as far back as I'll get. Shoulder straps are a reasonable way in. Right, I'm happy with that. But let's go and run her in. So here's what we're going to do. I've just strapped the Paramotor to a post that's nice and sturdy using a couple of straps. That should keep that in place while we run this engine in. You could do it on your back, but there's a lot of weight there and you're going to be running it in for about 30 minutes. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go over, we're going to start the engine and let it warm up. That'll probably take about 5-10 minutes. So once that's nice and warmed up on its own, I'm then going to start at about 10 to 20% power for a couple of minutes and then let it cool off. Same again at 30 to 40% power, let it cool off. And you can imagine 50 to 60, 70 to 80, and then sort of 80, 90 to sort of full power. And then we're going to let it cool completely and then rinse and repeat that a couple of times. Because it's only piston rings that I've replaced in the engine, it's not like running in a brand new engine. So I am running a 40-to-1 mixture rather than 50-to-1. So essentially I'm going to go through a couple or 3 of these cycles to get the piston rings sort of bedded in, and then I'm going to switch over to the 50-to-1 fuel ratio when I start flying, and just be a bit careful on it for the first sort of 5 hours. After that point, it should be pretty fine. It's an old engine now, like I say, just the piston rings we need to worry about. And we're going to have to stop there, because guess what's come loose? Yes, the exhaust. So some of you may remember in one of my previous videos I had a problem with the exhaust leaking. Now someone had put on a couple of legs that go to the engine itself to stop the exhaust from moving around so much. I decided against putting those on because I thought that it was pushing the exhaust too far out, creating a gap around the bottom of where the exhaust sealed to the cylinder barrel. Now what I've done to fix that issue is I've filed down the mounting points and I've put them back on the Paramotor, so there's enough pressure on the exhaust to keep it from jiggling about so much, but not too much that it's creating that gap. I've also put on some silicone sealant to help that gasket along. The only problem with that is it's going to take 24 hours for it to set, and I'm away this week for work, so it's going to have a full week to set, and then on the Friday when I'm back, I'll be able to start the motor up and hopefully we won't have any issues. I've checked the weather for the day after and it's looking a lot less windy than this is, so hopefully I'll be able to take my first flights then. Fingers crossed that all goes to plan. Let's start this motor up.
We're going to run this up and properly run it in now. So it's warmed up. It's not going to go anywhere. Let's give it a shot. Oh. Right, hopefully this will pull fairly easy. Oh, look at that, like magic.
Well then, after that running, the exhaust is still on. The only problem we got now is there's a little bit of smoke coming from somewhere, and I think I've worked out where. So at first, I thought it was this silicone that's just discoloured here. I thought that was the issue that was smoking. I know it's a bit brown, but it's not the case. Actually, the problem we've got is the amorite. For those of you that called it, well done. I admit defeat. It's not worked out well. The exhaust, on the other hand, hasn't moved. I'm pretty happy with that. That doesn't leak anymore. Next problem then. So on the back of the harness here, there was a foam motorbike handlebar grip in there, and I replaced that with this other foam. But that seems to have melted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find up that motorbike piece again and probably put it in there, because it's seemingly it held up against the heat of this exhaust. I've got a feeling that all the issues are because this exhaust is much hotter than anything else. Paint is starting to even flake off the exhaust, which is not good. This hurts me as much as it hurts you guys. But can't have this melting off in the air. No, no, no. So it's got to come off now. Funny enough, the paint I put on the primer, the etch primer, doesn't even touch that. Like I say, it only looks like it's affected this side. So what I might do is run her up again and see what happens after a little while. Okay, so we've scraped off as much paint as I can get off. Hopefully it's only the exhaust side that's causing that issue, so it doesn't look too bad. I am a bit disappointed, but what are you going to do? If it's going to burn off mid-flight, not exactly what you want, is it? Right, let's get this back up to temperature and see what else starts to go wrong. Oh dear, I didn't kill that, it killed itself. Cylinder head temp's at 180. It's smirking like a bitch. Still got compression. I wonder what happened. Happy days, it looks like it's this pipe here. So all that's happened is it's come off the engine here. So when that engine's running, it creates a suction into your carburetor which draws the fuel in. So in that case, it should start if this is secured back on. Not very good. This just turns to a rubbery mess once it's started. There it is, fuel over this now, and I'd say that's exactly what the issue is. So I'm going to see what other pipe I've got. I've got an old bit that would fit that as well, so let's try putting that on, shall we? Let's have that one off and put this one back on. On there, wunderbar. Let's give it a go. Not gonna lie, my heart sank then. I thought I'd seized the engine, so I'm glad that it's an easy fix. Let's just pray to the gods that it was actually that. Right, here we go then. Might help if I re-primed it, eh? That might have just flooded it actually. Oops. Ha! Putting a spark plug on would help, wouldn't it, Dan? You idiot. Honestly, I think it's flooded. Ah, yeah. We've got plenty of petrol leaking out of there. Okay, well, let's give it 5 and then give it a go again. Oh, oh mother. This is not a good day. Not all the way through. I've got to be careful of that because that is not good. It's not a good day to be a paramotor, I'll tell you that. Where can I reroute that? That's not going to be an issue. There, like that. Yep, perfect. Well, these straps are everything's breaking now. This is not good. Is this signs that I will never fly? We'll have to fix this one at some other point. For the time being, let's just go and grab another strap. So there might not have been the pipe. I can hear a noise in here that I don't really like the sound of. i.e. that one there. So, guess we'll have to do this together, won't we? We might have some bad news in here. I really hope it hasn't blown a piston. Oh, man, that is one hell of a relief. Something doesn't sound right though. There's like a grating noise there. I can't see anything on the barrel this side. I don't really know what to say other than this is going to be an engine strip down to find out what the noise is. My thoughts is maybe it's a bearing, bottom end bearing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the head back on and then crank it over, see what happens. If it starts, beauty. If it doesn't, well, ParaFixIt continues. Did you just kill that?
Hmm?
Did you just kill that?
No, I did not. I revved it up, let it settle, and it was spinning faster. That's running too lean in the carb.
Lean.
Where's your smoke for a second as well?
Good point.
I'm running way too lean on the carb. Because what it was doing, this happened on my RXS. You notice it then because you had a rev range. It would do is you'd rev it up from like half a thousand revolutions, so like between 500 and 750, and it would hold itself after it reduced its revs at about 1500 to 2000 sometimes. Did it on the GPZ I think as well. And if I richened my fuel mixture off, it would then, instead of holding it, it would then drop down to a nice range. So
right. That sounds lovely, doesn't it?
sounds a bit better, yeah.
No, I mean, as in, that did not sound good.
Maybe a bit too rich.
That's right.
You've got to be very nice. Especially
It
when
doesn't
like
sound good though, does it? It doesn't sound... That sounds mechanical. It doesn't sound like a... That does not sound like a nice engine anymore, does it? Sounds like some loose in there. Oh. Go on, do that again.
What is
The
it?
whole f***ing barrel's come loose, isn't it?
What?
Look. Oh, f***ing barrel's loose. The whole f***ing barrel is
It did sound like a metal tingy sound, didn't it?
Me.
That's what I was looking for. That's why I initially went like that. I was like, that sounded like a metal voice. And I thought car, but I never expected your whole f***ing barrel.
We lost us.
You got two nuts this side.
Lost a nut at the back.
Right, so that obviously vibrated out and then the rest of them vibrated off and you've dropped that somewhere. Size was it? Have you got a spare?
Maybe.
So an 8 or above in it. That's not an M6.
Right, what I'm going to do then, that being said, I'm going to have them off, Loctite them on, and then have another go. Now this, oh, my heart is racing. Heart is racing. So we found the nut that had vibrated loose. Luckily it hadn't gone through the prop and fired it at the camera. We Loctited the rest of the nuts back on and then just rotated the prop before we started to make sure everything was running smoothly, and unfortunately we ran into yet another issue. There was now a horrible grinding noise that was coming from the engine. I couldn't bear to film any more than this time lapse because I've worked so hard on this engine, and at the final hurdle everything was just going wrong. When I was taking that engine apart on Friday night, all that was running through my mind was what I was going to say in a video to tell you guys that that was it. There was no more Paramotor videos coming your way, and I just felt absolutely defeated, and I couldn't believe that this is happening. Luckily it turns out the problem wasn't as bad as what I thought it was. The engine was fine, the barrel was fine, there was no damage, all the bearings inside the engine were absolutely fine. What actually happened was the coil had come loose and it was now rubbing against the stator. So I tightened it back up and gapped it, put everything back together, and we were clear of noises. The engine sounded as it did before. By this point it was halfway through Saturday, and with the possibility of flying on Sunday, I had to know that that engine ran. So with a slight break in the rain, I made a dash for that post again and tried to start it back up. Here's what happened. So after last night's events, I've got to make sure this thing starts before I go flying tomorrow. I just have to have that peace of mind. I have to know. Right. So I haven't started this up yet. Fingers crossed. We're making history today. Sounding much better. Can't hear it and pull out at the same time. I've got to be quick with this as well because it's raining like a pig again now. Oh, I'm a happy man. I'm a happy, happy man. With that said and done, I think we're going to have to get in and out of this rain. Oh. So as always guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you've loved it, subscribe. And the next time you'll see this face, I will literally see you up in the air.